Hi friends, welcome to Love and Money Secrets TV. Today I want to address the issue of dates that either cancel at the last minute or just flat out no show. And this to me it seems so obvious, but so many ladies and girls have been posting questions and comments and text as to what to do and how they're so hurt and in so much pain. And I really got to tell you ladies, if you have a man who confirms a date, and I'm in the same boat as you, I'm out there in the dating world just like you. And today, case in point, I had 2 dates set for this weekend. I had one for yesterday, one for today, and I really haven't counted how many guys I'm texting and talking to over the phone, but maybe half a dozen or so, something like that. But that's irrelevant. The point in case is that I had 2 dates set, one for yesterday, and that one we met for an hour and it came through. And then the one today, I had set it up for today at 2 o'clock, and the guy at 12:15, he called me. I missed the call. And what he had told me before is like, I'm going to be surfing in Newport Beach in the morning, and then maybe I can meet you early afternoon, like at 2. And I said, great, I'll put it in my calendar for 2. And he says, yeah, as soon as I'm done, I'll call you. So at 12:15, he called. I missed the call. I don't know, I was in the bathroom, the kitchen or something. I noticed at 12:45 that I had a missed call from him. So I was getting ready, getting, makeup, hair, all that kind of good stuff done. And then at 12:45, when I saw the message, I'm like, oh, I missed a call from him. So I called him back. I said, hey, so-and-so. Don't want to say his name because I'm not here into shaming people. He's on his own path, his own journey. But basically, 12:45, I responded, left him a voicemail message. I did not text him because he called me, so I'm calling him back. And I never heard back from him again. So as I was getting ready, I thought, I'm going to go ahead and get ready. I don't know where it is that we're supposed to meet, but, a gentleman would make sure that I knew, okay, yeah, at 2 o'clock we're going to meet. Let's meet at such and such place in your town. But I hadn't heard back from him, so I already was getting the hint that maybe this guy wasn't come through. Very good-looking, handsome guy. His profile looks all good. He did call me. We texted at first for the first 24. I said a call would feel lovely, and then, of course, he called me, and we had a really nice conversation. But it's not real until you meet in person and you see what the chemistry is like. And actions speak far louder than any words. He can say he's a gentleman, but does he behave like he's a gentleman? So long story short, 2 o'clock, about 1:30, when I hadn't heard back from him, I just assumed that it wasn't going to take place. And I thought, well, this is just showing me that this guy is not a high quality guy. He's definitely not at my vibe. The reason why he's not showing up is because I'm in a pretty high, happy place right now. I am like, life is good. Everything is going, like everything I touch right now seems to be, turning into gold. My work is phenomenal. My kids are phenomenal. I'm just like, wow, my life is a wow right now. So this guy, he's probably not at the same vibrational frequency as I am. He's obviously not a gentleman, because a gentleman pays attention to details. If they're in their masculine energy, they're making sure that they plan everything out right, make sure that nothing falls between the cracks. If he has a woman, he's making sure that he's taking care of her. Even if it's a prospective woman, that's clearly not where this guy was. So I went ahead, and as you can probably see, I've got my coverall and my bathing suit because I came out to paddleboard instead. That hour I spared myself. The universe kept me from wasting my hour with someone who's a mismatch, someone whose vibrational frequency is much lower, obviously, than mine, and who is not a gentleman. So afterwards, after I was done paddling, I decided, I said, you know what? I haven't heard back from him at all, so I'm just going to go ahead. And I went onto my Hinge app, and I unfriended him. That's Facebook. Facebook is friending and unfriending. So I unmatched ourselves. I removed him from my Hinge match. And then I went into my phone and I blocked his phone number because I don't want to have anything to do with somebody who's not going to know how to treat a classy, self-respecting, dignified lady. I love myself enough to know that I deserve happy, healthy, wealthy men. Somebody who is wealthy in spirit, in emotion, who has a high emotional IQ, who is stable, well-planted, doing well in his business or his place of employment, whatever it is that he has going for him, that he's doing solid. And so, no, I don't want any losers in my life. So I recognize losers when they show up. A guy who says that, oh, this is just all about the money and this and that, is a guy who has no money. That's why they talk that way. So I hope this helps you. And gentlemen, ladies, if a guy doesn't show up, I have so many friends and girls and ladies who say it's like, oh, am I not pretty enough? Does he not like my hair? Does he not like my, how I'm dressed? Whatever the case may be. You should be not worried about what he's thinking. You should be going, oh my gosh, that I dodged a bullet. That is not a match. What a loser. You should be worried about what you're thinking. And the reality is, these people are not worth it. They clearly are not a match. So don't pine for somebody. You haven't even met this guy. Who cares? Even if you have met somebody, I'm going to tell you another little story. I recently suffered a breakup. And this is a post-divorce relationship. I've only had 2 boyfriends in my life. Yes, I've dated. Yes, I went out with other men before my my first marriage and my only marriage. But the reality is, I've never had an issue with guys, paying compliments. And this is true I believe, for all women. I have friends that are all sizes and shapes and ages. And I have friends who are, in their 20s and in their 80s. And ladies, if you are a woman who is feminine and you carry yourself well and you groom yourself well, you could be 80 years old. You may not look 80, but you could be 80 years old, 85 years old, and you can have men complimenting you, young men and men your own age. They don't care. When they see a beautiful woman, they see a beautiful woman. They're not looking at age. They see your femininity, they see your energy, they see your beauty. And I got to tell you, we're fending off compliments all the time. So why are we I shouldn't say fending off compliments. We're receiving compliments all the time. You should be gracefully acknowledging and receiving them. Even if you don't want to entertain it into anything beyond that compliment, you should still be, gracious in accepting that. And so you should worry more about what you're thinking and feeling, and not be addicted to the victimization that I'm not good enough, that I'm not pretty enough. Listen, you can go to any mall in America. You could go to any retail store, supermarket, I don't care what kind of retail outlet you're talking about, and you will find gorgeous women that look like models, of course with boyfriends or alone, and you'll find other ones who are heavy and overweight who don't, there are some girls that are big that still are very curvy, have small waists, and they're voluptuous and whatnot, but there are others who are just round, and oftentimes you see them there with their mate, and that girl is beautiful to that man. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So there's no such thing that you don't have the perfect shape, or you're not in tone enough, or you have too much cellulite, or your eyelashes aren't that thick or that long, or your hair, or whatever the crazy list of things that we come up with, which is an absolute bold-faced lie. We are lying to ourselves. And just recently, Scientific American wrote an article. There was an article in there, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 months ago, and the scientists in there said that 50% of the stories that we tell ourselves, let alone that we tell others, are not even true. That 50% of them are lies. So when you say, oh yeah, this guy, he didn't call me and he didn't show up, and it's like maybe I'm not pretty enough, or whatever the total victim song that you're singing. And we've all done it, but grow out of it, learn from it, and realize, hey, I am the sexy divine feminine. I am beautiful. And with 7 billion people on the planet, there is more than one person. There are multiple people out there, multiple guys that are out there that would absolutely love and adore to be with you. So, and the flip side is true for guys. There is somebody for everybody. And if you are willing to settle for less than what you love because you have to love yourself first. If you don't love yourself first, how are they going to love you? So you have to have enough self-esteem to love yourself first, and not settle for less than and someone who has cheated on somebody else before, or cheated on you before, or behavior that makes you feel bad about yourself. Get rid of that. That to me is like not sexy, not a turn on at all. And when my boyfriend broke up with me in March, and I was deeply in love with this man, and I still love him, but I'm just not in love with him anymore. But it was very painful. It was very shocking, very surprised. It was really stupid, the reason that he's quoted for breaking up with me, and it didn't make any sense. It made no sense whatsoever. I knew that there was something else that he was hiding that he wasn't telling me. It was crystal clear. And I thought, if this is how you're choosing to break up with me, then yeah, I don't want this. This is not the relationship that I thought I had. I thought we had a real deep felt heart-to-heart connection. I thought that there was something extraordinary and special. Yes, we experienced a lot of extraordinary and special times. We did have, in the last year, more tumultuousness, and there was dissonance between us because we were growing apart. As my vibe went up, his vibe either stayed the same, or the last 3 months it went down until it broke apart because our vibes were so vastly off. And guess what? I wasn't attracted to that personality of his, that behavior, that treatment. That's not sexy. That's a complete turnoff. Speaking of a killjoy, it is not a good feeling. And so I feel like, wow, there are a lot of wonderful things I walked away from that relationship. Many things so much better than anything I ever had in my marriage. And so I am gleaning those wonderful traits along with the wonderful traits from my husband. And I know that the next guy who is, in my heart, I am looking for the next Mr. Forever Man. And so I know that I'm going to have to meet a few men to finally identify who that is. And I know that they're looking for me, so I don't even have to go looking for them. They will appear. And until then, for fun, I'm just going to go out to have a juice or a coffee or an ice cream or a gelato with these guys on Hinge and on Tinder. And, I've met people who've met on these dating apps and have gotten married and are, 20 years later, they're still ecstatically in love and still married. So I know it can happen. So I'm just open to however the universe is going to bring it. And I'm going to suggest that you do the same too. And that's really it. My heartfelt desire is that if I can give you one little gold nugget that will make you just pivot ever so slightly in how you're thinking about this situation of this no-show or this ugly feeling in this relationship that you might have, that you can turn it around and that you could be empowered and you could feel good about yourself. Because that is a hot trait. Men are attracted to women who are self-confident, feel good about themselves, who can articulate, like Adrienne Everhart says, your ability to express to another being or to a man how you feel in your body they absolutely love that because you're being in your authenticity. You're in integrity with yourself. That's part of this journey of learning to be whole and of standing in your feminine energy. So that's it. My arm is getting really tired. It's been about 12 minutes holding this camera up. So I'm going to let you guys go and take up a new sport. Learn to paddleboard if you're close to a lake or to the water or by the beach like I am. Have fun. Joy is one of the highest vibrational frequencies. When you're having fun, when you're playing, you're having joy, you automatically lift your vibe. If you can't think of something to do in the moment that will lift your vibe to get you out of this negative thinking and in this rut, go to the movies, watch a funny movie, or find funny movies on Netflix, or go to a comedy club, scour Groupon and find fun things to do or places to go that will turn your vibe. Go to, like in Orange County, go to K1 go-karts and race a go-kart. You can race against strangers. You don't have to go with anybody. Or go call a friend and say, hey, let's go to the go-karts and let's go race. Or as my friend Mo says, friends are just, strangers are just friends I haven't met yet. Every single friend you have today, you didn't know a single one of them when you were born. And yet they're your friends today. Something to think about. Okay, now, wow, this is a workout for my arm. I really gotta let you guys go. So I hope you guys are having a good time. Heaven knows I'm having a good time. I'm having a great time, and I'm super, super excited because as we speak, I go on another adventure as a solo traveler. Again, I get to go to Italy, and I'm gonna be there for a couple months. I'm there for a couple months. So that's it. Chai bow, bye, and the next videos to come will be from Rome.